What is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new post-commentary duel video. We got me playing Mekk Knight Invoked on the left, and my brother playing Crusadia on the right. My brother's been sort of in and out of the game lately, but there's been sort of one deck that's sort of drawing him back in, and that's been Crusadia. It's my build that he's playing on the left that's been edited quite a bit, and the Mekk Knight Invoked deck I'm playing on the left is also obviously my build, and it's been edited quite a bit since the last profile, and I'm going to be updating again very soon. I think it'd be best fit to wait until the Invoker of Madness comes out. That way you can play cards like Book of Law and stuff like that in the main deck, and the extra deck will change up a little bit apart from all the other changes I made in the main deck. So I lost the dice roll and was forced to go first. Didn't see any really good cards. I'm playing a small Sky Striker engine in the deck as well, but I didn't get to really do much else. I knew I was playing against Crusadia, so I didn't want to summon a monster, so I wouldn't get OTK'd super hard, but he goes through the normal combo Magius with Leonis, and then summoning out Regulex here, summoning out Draco underneath it, and adding back Leonis. That's going to also trigger the Regulex effect to add a Crusadia spell or trap from deck to hand. Could grab Crusadia Power, the Alliance, or the trap card, which I forget its name now, but the one that basically tags out a World Legacy or Crusadia card to summon another Crusadia monster or World Legacy monster from deck. Or I believe it's attributed Crusadia to summon World Legacy or Crusadia. One or the other. Goes into Equamax, though. Pretty much the main boss monster, the generic Link 3. Sort of generic, just requires a Link monster. But he's got World Legacy Succession to bring out Draco. And then summons the Leonis from hand because he's yet to special summon it by its own effect. So he does get to special summon here towards the end. Doesn't need Maximus here, because Maximus would be sort of a waste, because he only deals double battle damage over any time it attacks over a monster, but we'll be gaining the 1200 and the 600, I believe, so 1800 total. And then end phase, I decide to use the World Legacy's Memory. He does decide to negate with Equamax's effect, attribute to negate a face-up card until the end of the turn. And my hand is just not really good enough. He has another negate, as well as having the trap card, which could bring out the Reclusia for a pop, or summon out the Crown, which could negate an extra deck monster. So I decide not to bother and try here to go into game 2, where I'm able to go second. He starts with the Leonis into Magius, having to use that Monster Reborn there to bring back Leonis underneath the Magius to trigger its effect, and have Ghost Ogre for the Magus. Which I believe he does have a response here, whether it might be Called By or Crusadia Power, which by Crusadia Power is just such a fantastic card. Like, it's one of the cards that this deck really needs because it's sort of glass cannon, and there it is. Crusadia Power will be targeting Magus to make it unaffected by card effects other than its own for the rest of the turn. And then he's going to add Crusadia Draco from deck to hand, which will allow him to add back one from his grave to his hand when summoned to his own Link monster points. So you're going to go right into Regulex. The standard Link climb happening here. Draco adding back Leonis underneath at Regulex. And now Regulex adding back, or adding a spell or trap from deck to hand here. Debating on what to add here. Again, he is going first here. So he doesn't really want to add Magius, or he didn't want to add it earlier. Draco is a much better option. Going first with this deck and setting up an Equamax play with that trap card is pretty much the strongest defense that you can provide with this deck, given that you don't have side deck cards in your opening hand. So we're going to summon Maximus and Leonis here, obviously not using Maximus in an attempt to do damage, but using Maximus and the other Leonis as just fodder for the trap card, as well as for Maximus to be able to negate face-up cards. So I go ahead and play Magical Meltdown here. He does negate it. And then I have the Alistair, so a bit of a bait. And then I go ahead and attempt to activate to go ahead and search a invocation. I don't know if I would have negated the Meltdown there, but because either way, they have Alistair, whether or not they're gonna, search it off that, negating the Alistair is probably a little bit better, but you could also negate the fusion, I guess, at that point as well, if the field spell is negated for the turn, if he has some way to negate the fusion. So I create that column there, summon out Purple Nightfall, usually the go-to Mekk Knight. The only Mekk Knight that I play 3 of right now. I think I play 3 Purple Nightfall, 2 Blue Sky, 2 Indigo Eclipse, and 1 of the Yellow Star. activating the trap card here in response to me using the effect of Purple Nightfall here. So in response to that, he's going to chain the trap card. That's going to tribute out the Maximus, summoning out Reclusia into a zone that equal max points to, and thus triggering Reclusia, which will target a Crusadia card on the field and one other card on the field and destroy those both. And then he will destroy the Purple Nightfall. So I won't be able to get the search since he activated it in response. He's going to clear away the trap instead of Reclusia, so to keep that a little bit of attack boost on the equal max. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Invocation here, getting rid of Ghost Ogre in the graveyard and going for Mekk. Now, there's a really interesting sort of heads up I have in this matchup, and that card is Mekk Knight of the Morningstar. That card gives this deck such a hard time, Crusadia that is, because they can't put equal max underneath your Morningstar because he doesn't have an up arrow that points to your opponent. So there's no way for you to beat over it, because if it's not in the same column as Morningstar, you take no battle damage, and you also, your monsters don't get destroyed by battle. So I'm checking his graveyard right now to make sure he doesn't have Arborea engraved, which is basically like a Return of the Dragon Lords for Crusadia, which would prove pretty rough if he did have that there, because I wouldn't be able to attack over. So I swing over for 100 though, because he does have Reclusia. That's boosting him up by 400. And Mekk obviously at 25. Interrupted Slumber goes off here. Fortunately, I don't have the spell in hand, so it is what it is. The Interrupted Slumber proving to be a very powerful card in this deck. It just sets up so many OTKs. I ordered recently a playset of Super Gamma Seals because I think playing 3 Gamma Seal in this deck is the way to go. 3 Gamma Seal and then 2 other bigger Kaijus. I'm playing right now the Thunder Thing, the Thunder King, not the Thunder Thing, and a Kumungus. Because honestly, anything over the Gamma Seal attack is just enough for a game either way. You could play a Dogoran as well. I probably should be playing a Dogoran. I just don't have one at the moment. I probably could get one. But regardless, a Kaiju package, a heavy Kaiju package working the absolute best in this deck. Because opening up 2 Crusaders usually and a Gamma Seal or Slumber or any other protection card like Called By or Power is usually just game. It's such a good combo. It's Glass Cannon, but it has the right amount of protection in most cases. It really takes a lot to be able to not get the OTK off in most cases when you have the right cards in hand. So going for Mekk again here. I have to worry about this big 3300 beat stick. It looks like I have Effect Valor in hand as well. And I pitched the Alistair over top because I want to clear this, or else, I'm just going to lose the Mekk next turn. And otherwise, he has to go into battle phase immediately, sort of, if I don't attack now, but that sort of gets that Alistair in my hand anyways. I don't know, I could have waited, try to let him run into it, but I figured it'd be best to clear it off the field now, so he couldn't use it as link fodder per se. But he uses Leonis here. I do have a set Called By, I think. He summons a World Legacy World Crown, which is a 2000 body, dark, level 5, basically has the same effect of all other Crusadias. I really like this card in the deck, but it's like a love-hate. I like it at 2, but I think I like it at 1 a little bit more. Right now, I'm only playing 2 Gamma Seal in this video, or at least my brother is playing that in his build. But I have the Called By to hit the other mages out of his grave, which is the one sort of weakness this deck has. Apart from its ability to recover, is like you always leave your extra deck monsters in grave, which are easy Called By targets for a situation like this. So he's not getting a search, and its effect to also gain attack is also being negated. So right now it's just at 100 attack. He could link into Regulex, but with no other cards in hand, missing that monster search that he would have gotten otherwise, just decides to scoop it up there, and we go into game 2. I had my turn started off there. I must have cut it off, but Hornet Drones into Kagari. Kagari adding back Hornet Drones. And then summoning Alistair here to add the Invocation. Now, I really like the Sky Striker Hornet Drones in this deck because it gives you Kagari on board, which is a super easy monster to bring out. It's a fire target for Purgatrio, because I don't think I was playing Ash Blossom in this build just yet, as we are here in game 3. But what it does is it gives you that extra monster to use to make Morningstar a little easier. And it also does the job that Instant Fusion used to do for me, which was able to give you that, create a Mekk Knight friendly column for you on turn 1. So you don't always have to rely on your opponent, you know, having stuff, or you having to go second to get a Mekk Knight play off. Because as you can see, after the Desires resolves, I get those 2 extra cards to hand. Set a card, I'm able to use Kagari and the Indigo Eclipse to go into Morningstar, which is perfect, which is what I wanted, because Morningstar in this matchup is absolutely huge. I don't have the extra discard to use his effect, unfortunately. Didn't draw too great off of the Desires, but it was enough. I'm able to go Invocation here, banishing Indigo Eclipse and the Alistair to go for Mekaba. And then using Alistair, the Invocation effect, to return itself to the deck and Alistair back to hand. And having 3 spells in hand right now. One is a Hornet Drones, one is a Monster Born, one's a Ghost Ogre, Alistair, and I think I might have a Called By set. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks like I might have a Ghost Ogre in hand, which could play out pretty well here. So he summons Arborea, links up immediately into Magus, as per usual. Pretty much the first play with this deck. Pretty standard. Like, the deck is sort of linear to an extent, but however, its going first and second plays differ slightly in its playstyle. You know, sometimes you want to grab the field spell going second off of Regulex, and going first you might want to grab the trap card, or maybe a copy of Crusadia Power if you already have it, or vice versa. Because Crusadia Power is just a really awesome card. This is sort of like turning into an advertisement for Crusadia, but I think it's an awesome deck. Like, if you want a really fun deck to play that can actually be pretty potent, I've had some people in my Discord tell me that they've took the deck to locals and did pretty well with it. I think I've had one person tell me they actually got first. I don't know how many people were there, what he played against, but still, that's pretty cool. I love to see when decks like this do really well. It sort of revives my hope in the game that you don't always have to pay to win. Pay to win as in buy the best meta deck and then you just stomp everybody. But that's sort of a different story, I guess. Right now, debating what to do here. He does have to go against a Mekaba, which he knows I at least have a negation of a monster at minimum, because he saw me add back Alistair. For all he knows, I could have a handful of monsters. But he's also got to play around 2 set cards and dealing with this pesky Mekk Knight of the Morning Star, which is just proving to be a problem for this deck time and time again, because it's its clause of, you know, saying, like, if you're not in the same zone as a Mekk Knight, you're not destroying me by battle, and I'm not taking any battle damage, which kind of defeats the purpose of Crusadia as a whole. So if you got some pesky Crusadia players at your locals, you might want to play, if you're tired of getting OTK'd for like 10,000 damage, you might want to switch to Mekk Knight Invoked, because you get yourself a Morning Star on board, and then they really can't do anything about it unless they've got a board clear. Which I don't think board clears are that great in Crusadia, because you always kind of want to have a monster on your side of the field. Now, I Ghost Ogre the Draco, because I don't think he used the effect of Magus. He might have not have needed to, trying to maybe play around some negations here. But he, regardless, still gets to add it back. But I have to make him work a little bit harder to get into Regulex, so he has to use the Arborea that he summoned, or added back with the Draco, to summon it immediately. But he has World Legacy Succession here, which is going to target a monster in its grave and summon it back, but I do have the Called By for it. Banishing the Draco. Still have the Mekaba negation. Probably wasn't expecting the Ghost Ogre, honestly. It's probably a little unfortunate that he didn't have Crusadia Power or Called By the Grave in hand. That's just unlucky. And then going to summon down Crusadia Maximus here. And boosting up Regulex to 2,600. And attempting to swing here. Now, there's a couple things he could have done differently here. He could have attempted to search, in which I would have negated and banished. So if he doesn't have the power there, either way, he sort of loses. Regardless, you know, whether he goes to activate to search. Because either way, I negate, get rid of the Regulex, it's banished. Or he just swings in trying to get over for 100, and then he gets met with the Alistair boost over the top, and leaving him with almost no resource. Like I said, the only downfall that I think with Crusadia is its lack of recoverability. I'm not sure how else you could fix that. I don't know what type of engine you could add. The ratios with the deck are sort of like set in stone for the most part. But that's just one thing to keep in mind. It's very glass cannon, I think, for sure. Most people could probably agree with that. But anyways, that's it for this duel video. Hope you guys enjoyed. You got a couple more duel videos coming your guys' way in the next few days. So stay tuned for that. Leave a like if you enjoy. And thank you guys always so much for the continuous support. And as always, we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching.